The massive ship materialized at the edge of the solar system, with all the subtlety of a new constellation appearing overnight. Astronomers worldwide first dismissed the readings as equipment malfunction. After all, nothing could be that big. But as confirmation came in from observatories across the globe, humanity faced an undeniable truth. We were no longer alone. Dr. Sarah Chen, Chief Economic Advisor to the UN Security Council, stood at her office window in Geneva, watching military jets patrol the unusually empty skies. The alien vessel had maintained its position beyond Mars orbit for 3 days, broadcasting a single message in perfect English. The Galactic Trade Federation brings prosperity to all. We come to negotiate. Her secure phone buzzed. They're ready for you in the chamber, her assistant said quietly. The Federation's representatives had finally arrived. 3 beings that looked almost, but not quite, human sat across the negotiating table in the UN's secure underground chamber. Their spokesperson, who called himself Trade Commissioner Nexus, smiled with too many teeth. "We've studied your world extensively," Nexus said, his voice carrying an artificial smoothness. "Such potential, yet held back by technological limitations. The Federation can change that overnight." Sarah watched the aliens' golden eyes, noting how they never quite focused on any one person. She'd spent her career analyzing human negotiation tactics. Now those skills were being tested on an interstellar scale. "Your offer is generous," Secretary General Martinez responded carefully, "but we'll need specifics." Nexus gestured and holographic displays materialized above the table. Advanced fusion technology, medical breakthroughs that would double your lifespans, FTL travel capabilities, each image more tantalizing than the last. All we ask in return are reasonable resource rights, a mere 15% of your planet's raw materials over the next century. Sarah's tablet quietly processed numbers as the alien spoke. Something wasn't adding up. "Commissioner," she interrupted, earning a sharp look from Martinez, "could you clarify the terms of these resource rights?" The alien's smile widened fractionally. "Of course. The Federation would have priority access to extracted materials, with fair market compensation provided. And this market value would be set by Federation standards. Naturally, we have millennia of experience in fair trade practices." Sarah's fingers flew across her tablet. The Federation's representative kept talking, but she was already deep in the numbers. Years of analyzing developing nations' debt structures had taught her to spot predatory lending. This was the same game, just on a planetary scale. "Excuse me," she said again, this time pulling up her calculations on the main display. Based on standard resource appreciation rates and the Federation's own published conversion metrics, this deal would effectively bankrupt Earth within 50 years. The room fell silent. Nexus's smile didn't waver, but his golden eyes narrowed. "I assure you, our calculations are based on complex derivatives that obscure the true cost," Sarah continued. She highlighted specific clauses in the proposed contract. "These resource rights compound. Every extraction increases the Federation's claim percentage. By year 30, you'd own rights to nearly 60% of Earth's resources, not 15%. Martinez leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Is this true?" "Dr. Chen's interpretation is creative," Nexus said smoothly, "but she lacks understanding of galactic economics. Perhaps we should continue this discussion with more qualified." "I have 14 advanced degrees in theoretical and practical economics," Sarah interrupted, "including 3 in systems I developed myself. Would you like to compare qualifications, Commissioner?" The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Nexus's human-like facade slipped for just a moment, revealing something ancient and cold beneath. "You should understand, Dr. Chen, that no civilization has ever rejected Federation membership. The benefits far outweigh any perceived costs." Sarah smiled for the first time since the meeting began. "Then you've never negotiated with humans before. Secretary General, I recommend we delay any decision until we can perform a full analysis of the Federation's economic history." "Agreed." Martinez nodded. Commissioner Nexus, we'll need time to review. The alien stood, its movements too smooth to be natural. Of course, but do not take too long. Such opportunities are finite. The threat in its voice was subtle but clear. After the Federation representatives departed, Sarah's tablet pinged with an urgent message. Her global network of economists and data analysts had been busy. They'd found something in the Federation's public records, a pattern of civilizations accepting similar deals, followed by systematic resource depletion. Hundreds of worlds, all now effectively owned by the Federation. But they'd also found something else. Buried in the data were hints of worlds that had somehow slipped through the Federation's grasp, places that had found another way. Sarah looked up at the Secretary General. Sir, I need unrestricted access to our quantum computing network. I think I found a weakness in their system, but we'll need to move fast. Martinez nodded grimly. Do it. And Dr. Chen, let's keep this quiet. I have a feeling the Federation doesn't like it when planets start asking too many questions. As she left the chamber, Sarah's mind was already racing with calculations. The Federation had brought their economic weapons to Earth, expecting another easy conquest. Instead, they'd found a civilization that had spent centuries perfecting the art of seeing through financial smokescreens. The game was on, and humanity was about to rewrite the rules of galactic trade. Deep beneath the Swiss Alps, the quantum computing facility hummed with unprecedented activity. Dr. Sarah Chen hadn't left the complex in 3 weeks, her office walls now covered with holographic displays showing endless streams of economic data. The Federation's massive ship still loomed in space, a constant reminder of the deadline they faced. Another one, Sarah muttered, adding a red marker to the galactic map. Her team had identified yet another civilization that had fallen to the Federation's economic trap. The planet Kepler 447 bits, once rich in rare minerals, now a depleted husk serving as a cautionary tale. Dr. Chen. Her assistant's voice broke through her concentration. The briefing starts in 5 minutes. In the facility's main conference room, representatives from Earth's major financial institutions waited. Sarah took a deep breath, then dimmed the lights. What you're about to see is classified beyond top secret, she began, activating the central hologram. A complex web of transactions appeared, stretching across thousands of worlds. This is the true face of the Galactic Trade Federation. The room watched as she manipulated the display, highlighting specific patterns. They're running the largest pyramid scheme in the history of the universe. Each new civilization they absorb becomes collateral for recruiting the next. The resource rights they demand. They're not using them for production. They're using them as leveraged assets. The head of the World Bank leaned forward, but surely someone would have noticed. They did. Sarah pulled up another dataset. We found evidence of at least 7 civilizations that tried to expose the scheme. All of them mysteriously suffered economic collapses before they could act. She paused, letting that sink in. But they made one crucial mistake coming to Earth. She zoomed in on Earth's financial systems. They assumed we'd be like everyone else, desperate for advanced technology, willing to sign anything. They didn't realize we spent centuries developing defenses against exactly this kind of predatory behavior. The director of the International Monetary Fund spoke up. What are you proposing? Sarah's eyes gleamed. We're going to beat them at their own game. But I'll need complete cooperation from every financial institution on Earth. Over the next hour, she laid out her plan. It was audacious, perhaps even insane, but as the numbers flowed across the screens, even the most skeptical bankers began to nod in understanding. The Federation's power relied on complexity. Financial instruments so intricate that most civilizations couldn't comprehend them until it was too late. But humans had been dealing with complex derivatives and financial weapons since the 20th century. What looked like impenetrable genius to other worlds was, to Earth's economists, frighteningly familiar. The key is their liquidity ratio, Sarah explained, highlighting a particular set of transactions. They're leveraged beyond anything we've ever seen. One significant disruption in their asset flow, and the whole system collapses, finished the European Central Bank president. But won't that cause a galactic depression? Sarah shook her head. Not if we time it right and have an alternative ready. She brought up another display, this one showing the new economic model her team had developed. We call it the Terra Protocol, a transparent, blockchain-based trading system that could form the foundation of a new galactic economy. As the briefing concluded, Sarah received an urgent message. The Federation's ship had moved closer to Earth, and Commissioner Nexus was demanding an answer to their offer. They're getting nervous, she told Martinez over a secure line. They've never had a civilization take this long to respond. I think they're starting to realize we're not as primitive as they assumed. How much longer do you need? Sarah checked the quantum computer's progress. 3 days to finish modeling all possible outcomes. Then we can begin. You'll have it, Martinez assured her. The Security Council is fully backing your plan. Just be careful. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. That night, as Sarah finally allowed herself a few hours of rest, she thought about all the civilizations the Federation had destroyed. Their economic empire had seemed invincible to countless worlds, but they'd never faced a species that had turned finance into both an art and a weapon. In her dreams, she saw the Federation's complex web of transactions unraveling, replaced by something new, something fair. But first, they had to spring the trap. And the Federation was about to learn that when it came to economic warfare, humanity had written the book. As dawn broke over the Alps, Sarah returned to her office. The quantum computers had made a breakthrough in mapping the Federation's complete financial network. What they found confirmed her suspicions. The entire galactic economy balanced on a knife's edge. One push in the right place, and everything would change. The question was, would humanity be ready for what came after? Commissioner Nexus materialized in the UN chamber exactly 1 month after the Federation's arrival. His golden eyes swept the room, noting the unusual calm of the human delegates. Something had changed. Your evaluation period has ended, he announced. The Federation requires your answer. Sarah Chen stood, tablet in hand. Indeed, we've prepared our response. She activated the chamber's holographic display. But first, we'd like to discuss these. The display filled with transaction records, thousands of them, all bearing Federation codes. Nexus's artificial smile flickered. We've been busy, Sarah continued. While analyzing your generous offer, we took the liberty of reaching out to some of your former clients. Martinez slid a data crystal across the table. This contains evidence of systematic financial manipulation across 342 worlds. Predatory lending on a galactic scale. Most civilizations wouldn't understand these records, Nexus said smoothly. You're primitive. Northwestern University's Advanced Financial Forensics I disagrees, Sarah interrupted. As do the quantum computers at CERN and every major financial institution on Earth. Would you like to see their analysis? For the first time, genuine emotion crossed the alien's face. Fear. But that's not all. Sarah continued. She keyed in a command, and the display changed. We've made some friends of our own. The new image showed a network of worlds, smaller than the Federation's, but growing. Trading routes connected them, marked with transaction volumes that made Nexus's eyes widen. Impossible, he whispered. The Federation controls all major trade routes. Controlled, Martinez corrected. Past tense. You see, Commissioner, while you were waiting for our answer, we were building something new, something transparent. Sarah brought up the Terra Protocol specifications, a decentralized galactic trading network, no hidden fees, no predatory terms, just fair trade between willing partners. The Federation will never allow. You already have, Sarah smiled. Remember those resource rights contracts you're so fond of? We found a loophole. Article 47.3 allows for third-party arbitrage under certain conditions. Conditions we've carefully met. The color drained from Nexus's face. You can't. The computational requirements alone are well within our capabilities. Sarah finished. Earth's distributed quantum network has been handling the calculations for weeks. We've already processed over 1 million transactions. Martinez leaned forward. Which brings us to our counteroffer, Commissioner. The Federation can either adapt to the new system, or what? Nexus demanded. Sarah's finger hovered over her tablet. Or we release everything. Every predatory contract, every hidden clause, every world you've stripped bare, all broadcast simultaneously across every trading hub in the galaxy. You destroy the galactic economy. No, Sarah corrected. We would reset it. The Terra Protocol is already in place, ready to handle the transition. 300 worlds have already signed on. They're just waiting for our signal. Nexus stood abruptly, his human facade cracking. This is unprecedented. You cannot simply. We already have. Martinez interrupted. The only question is whether the Federation wants to be part of what comes next. The alien's golden eyes darted between them. The Federation Council will never agree. Then perhaps it's time for new leadership, Sarah suggested. We've been in contact with several Federation member species who find our approach refreshing. Nexus's shoulders slumped slightly. You would tear apart thousands of years of economic stability for your moral principles. Your stability was built on exploitation, Sarah replied. We're offering something better. Real stability. Real growth. She paused. And a chance for the Federation to be part of it, rather than remembered as the greatest financial fraud in galactic history. The alien was silent for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. The Federation Council will require time to consider your proposal. You have 48 hours, Martinez said firmly. After that, we broadcast everything. As Nexus departed, Sarah's tablet pinged with updates from around the galaxy. More worlds were joining the Terra Protocol every hour. The Federation's perfect system was already beginning to crack. Will they agree? Martinez asked quietly after the alien had gone. Sarah studied the economic projections flowing across her screen. They don't have a choice. The moment we exposed the truth about their system, the countdown began. The only question now is how many of their member species will abandon them before the deadline, and if they try to stop us by force. Sarah smiled grimly. Then they'll learn that economic warfare isn't the only kind humanity knows how to wage. But they won't. Their entire power structure is built on the illusion of invincibility. The moment they attack us, that illusion shatters. As night fell over Geneva, Sarah watched the Federation's massive ship through her office window. Soon, it would either be a relic of a dying empire or part of something new, something better. Either way, humanity had changed the galaxy forever. And this was only the beginning. The 48-hour deadline expired in silence. No response came from the Federation ship, but Sarah Chin wasn't worried. Her quantum networks were picking up unprecedented activity across Federation space. Look at this, she told Martinez, projecting a real-time map of galactic financial flows. Massive amounts of capital were moving, shifting between systems at faster than light speeds. They're trying to shore up their positions, and failing. The Federation's carefully constructed financial web was unraveling. As more worlds learned about the Terra Protocol, confidence in the old system was evaporating. Market by market, sector by sector, the truth was spreading. Incoming transmission, her assistant announced. Not from the Federation ship. It's coming from everywhere. The holographic display filled with faces, dozens of alien species, all Federation members. Their spokesperson, a crystalline being that shimmered with internal light, addressed Earth directly. We are the Coalition of Free Systems, it announced. Your Terra Protocol has revealed what many of us long suspected, but could never prove. We formally request membership in your new economic network. Martinez glanced at Sarah, who nodded. We welcome. He began, but another transmission cut him off. Commissioner Nexus appeared, His perfect composure finally shattered. This is an illegal action. These systems are bound by Federation contracts, which become void under Article 89.7. Sarah interrupted. In cases of systematic fraud, would you like us to enumerate the exact violations? Our eyes have catalogued several million. You don't understand what you're doing, Nexus snarled. The Federation maintains stability across thousands of worlds. Without our system, your system is a lie, the crystalline being interjected. And now everyone knows it. Across the galaxy, Federation markets were going into freefall. But wherever the Terra Protocol was activated, stability returned. The transition Sarah's team had designed was working perfectly. The Federation Council demands. Nexus tried again. The Federation Council is currently being disbanded, a new voice announced. Sarah's displays showed the Federation's capital world, where massive crowds had gathered. Several council members have already been arrested for criminal conspiracy. Nexus's human facade flickered, revealing his true form for a moment. Something ancient and wounded. What have you done? We created choice, Sarah replied simply. Something your Federation never allowed. And now, she gestured at her displays, where more systems were declaring independence every minute. The Federation's ship above Earth suddenly began to move. Global defense systems activated, but Sarah raised her hand. Wait, she said. Watch. The massive vessel was breaking apart, restructuring itself. When it finished, it had split into hundreds of smaller ships. On the main screen, a new face appeared, one of the Federation's admiral species. Earth, the admiral said, many of us have served the Federation believing we maintained peace. Now we see the truth. These ships and their crews pledged themselves to your cause. Martinez straightened. We don't want servants or subjects. The Terra Protocol is about partnership, not dominance. Then let us be partners, the admiral replied. Our knowledge of Federation space lanes and defense systems, combined with your economic framework, we could build something truly great. Sarah's quantum networks were processing the implications. The transition would be smoother with their help, she told Martinez quietly. And it sends the right message. This isn't about revenge. It's about building a better system. Across the galaxy, the old order was dissolving. But unlike the economic collapses the Federation had engineered, this one had a safety net. The Terra Protocol was handling the transaction load smoothly, its blockchain architecture preventing the very manipulation that had made the Federation's scheme possible. There will be resistance, Sarah warned as they watched the reports flood in. Some Federation hardliners won't give up easily. Let them try to fight mathematics, the crystalline being replied. Your protocol does what we thought impossible. It makes cheating harder than honest trade. As the day progressed, Earth became the center of a new galactic order. Ships arrived from hundreds of worlds, carrying economic advisors, trade delegates, and former Federation officials eager to cooperate. The quantum computers beneath the Alps worked tirelessly, processing the greatest financial transformation in galactic history. I never thought I'd see this, Nexus said quietly, watching from his now powerless ship. Thousands of years of control, undone by a species that barely understands space travel. Sarah met his golden eyes on the screen. That was your mistake. You thought technological advancement was the only measure of civilization. But humanity's greatest advances have always been in how we organize ourselves, how we cooperate, how we turn competition into progress. The Federation's former commissioner nodded slowly. What happens to us now? That depends on you, Martins replied. Earth bears no ill will toward Federation citizens. Help us build this new system, and there's a place for everyone, even former commissioners. As night fell over Geneva, Sarah stood at her familiar window. The sky was filled with ships now, representatives from across the galaxy coming to learn about the Terra Protocol. Humanity's first steps into the galactic community had sparked a revolution, not with weapons, but with transparency, fairness, and the accumulated knowledge of centuries of economic evolution. The age of the Federation was over. The age of cooperation had begun. 1 year after the fall of the Federation, Earth had changed. The Geneva skyline now featured alien architecture seamlessly blended with human design, a physical manifestation of the new galactic cooperation. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in her expanded office, watching ships from 100 worlds move through the carefully regulated space lanes above the city. Final integration reports are in, her AI assistant announced. The last Federation holdout systems have joined the Terra Protocol. The transition is complete. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The quantum displays showed a galaxy transformed. Where the Federation had built walls of complexity and secrets, the Terra Protocol had created bridges of transparency and trust. Dr. Chen. A soft chime announced a visitor. The crystalline being who had first supported Earth's revolution floated into the room, its facets refracting sunlight. The Galactic Economic Council is ready for your address. The council chamber was a marvel of collaborative engineering, a space that could accommodate every known sentient species comfortably. Sarah took her place at the central podium, facing representatives from over 1,000 worlds. 1 year ago, she began, we faced a choice: submit to exploitation or risk everything for change. What happened next surprised even us. She gestured, and the chamber filled with holographic data. The Terra Protocol hasn't just replaced the Federation system. It's created possibilities they never imagined. The numbers told the story. Interstellar trade had increased by 300%. Technological exchange had accelerated scientific advancement across all member worlds. Former Federation resource colonies were rebuilding, their economies diversifying under the protocol's fair trade guidelines. But our greatest achievement isn't economic, Sarah continued. It's cultural. For the first time in galactic history, we have true cooperation between civilizations. From his seat in the chamber, former Commissioner Nexus nodded slowly. After the Federation's collapse, he had become one of the protocol's strongest advocates, his insider knowledge helping to dismantle the last remnants of the old system. The Federation maintained power through division. He addressed the Council. Earth showed us a different path. They proved that transparency isn't just morally right, it's more efficient. A delegate from a newly prosperous outer rim world stood, yet some still question why we allow Earth such influence. They're centuries behind many of us technologically. Because they're centuries ahead of us in other ways, the crystalline being responded. Their financial systems, their cooperative frameworks, their ability to balance competition with collaboration. These are technologies too, perhaps the most important ones. Sarah brought up new data, which brings us to today's proposal. The Terra Protocol has stabilized our economy. Now it's time for the next step. The displays showed a new framework, one that her team had spent months developing. The Galactic Development Initiative, she announced. A program to share advancement equally across all member worlds. No more artificial barriers. No more technological hoarding. Real cooperation, powered by the economic engine we've built together. The chamber erupted in discussion. A year ago, such a proposal would have been unthinkable. But Earth had proven itself not just as an economic leader, but as a civilizing force. There will be challenges, Sarah acknowledged. Change always brings resistance. But look how far we've come in just 1 year. Imagine what we can achieve in 10. In 100. The vote was nearly unanimous. As the council chamber cleared, Martinez, now Earth's first galactic ambassador, approached Sarah. Did you ever imagine, when you first analyzed their offer, that it would lead to this? Sarah watched the streams of data flowing through her quantum network. Billions of transactions, all transparent, all fair. Ships carrying knowledge instead of exploitation. Worlds rebuilding instead of being stripped bare. No, she admitted. We just did what humanity has always done. Faced a problem, and found a better way to solve it. In orbit above Earth, the former Federation flagship had been transformed into the Galactic Exchange, a neutral trading hub where species from across the galaxy could meet and collaborate. Its halls were filled with the sounds of a dozen languages, its databases containing the combined knowledge of thousands of civilizations. As night fell over Geneva, Sarah reviewed one final report. A small note caught her eye. A message from a distant world just discovering faster-than-light travel. They were requesting membership in the Terra Protocol. "Send them the welcome package," she told her assistant, "and schedule a call. Let's make sure their first step into the galaxy is the right one." The stars shone brightly over Earth, no longer distant and unreachable, but connected by invisible bonds of trust and cooperation. Humanity had given the galaxy something it desperately needed, not advanced technology or military might, but a simple idea that progress works better when everyone moves forward together. In the end, that had been worth more than all the Federation's empty promises. The price of freedom, it turned out, was simply the courage to imagine a better way. And humanity, for all its supposed primitiveness, had always excelled at imagination. First strike. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the EDS Hyperion, Earth's first quantum phase destroyer, as it materialized from seemingly empty space. Her vessel, along with 30 others, had just dropped their experimental phase shift cloaking, technology that even the mighty galactic Concordat didn't possess. "All ships report ready, Commander," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced from his tactical station. "The Helios Gate is in range." The Helios Gate, one of the Concordat's most crucial trade routes, floated before them, a massive ring-shaped structure that generated stable wormholes for faster-than-light travel. Thousands of alien vessels passed through it daily, making it the backbone of galactic commerce in this sector. And humanity was about to shut it down. "Begin broadcast on all frequencies," Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of history pressing down on this moment. For 15 years, Earth had played the role of a primitive civilization, barely worth the Concordat's notice. Today, that carefully crafted illusion would shatter. "Attention all vessels," she announced. "This is Commander Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. The Helios Gate is now under Earth jurisdiction. All ships are ordered to clear the area immediately. This sector is closed to Concordat traffic until further notice." The reaction was immediate. Dozens of alien vessels began broadcasting protests in various languages, their captains demanding explanations or threatening consequences. Chen watched impassively as her fleet moved into position, their quantum phase shields creating a gleaming barrier around the gate. "Concordat warships detected," Rodriguez reported. 3 dreadnoughts dropping out of FTL. "They're charging weapons." "Right on schedule," Chen murmured. The Concordat's 7th Fleet had a base just 2 light-years away, close enough to respond quickly, but not quickly enough to stop what was coming. "Deploy the quantum disruptors," she ordered. "Target their drive systems only." The technology had been Earth's greatest breakthrough, a way to temporarily disable any ship's faster-than-light capabilities without causing permanent damage. Another innovation the Concordat didn't believe possible from primitive humans. Green energy pulses lanced out from the Earth vessels, catching the massive alien warships before they could fire. Their engines sputtered and died, leaving them drifting in space. "Message from Concordat Command," Rodriguez announced. Admiral Zixtal himself. The holographic display activated, showing the imposing figure of the Concordat's military leader. His crystalline body structure pulsed with angry red patterns. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded. "Earth has no authority here. Stand down immediately or—" "Admiral," Chen interrupted, "I suggest you review the data package we just transmitted to your neural network. You'll find it illuminating." She watched as the alien leader's color patterns shifted rapidly. Surprise, disbelief, and finally, something close to fear. The package contained proof of every secret the Concordat had tried to hide. Their manipulation of developing civilizations, their suppression of technological advancement, their systematic exploitation of resource-rich worlds. "This is impossible," Zixtal whispered. "How did you acquire this information?" The same way we developed our technology, Admiral. While you thought we were still figuring out fusion power, Earth has been watching, learning, and preparing. The Helios Gate is just the beginning. Chen leaned forward, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's determination. The Concordat's monopoly on interstellar travel ends today. Earth is implementing the Free Stars Protocol, equal access to space travel for all civilizations, regardless of their technological level. You'll start a war, Zixtal warned. No, Admiral. We're preventing one. The Concordat's empire was built on controlling who could travel between the stars. That era is over. She gestured, and the quantum disruptors powered down, releasing the Concordat ships. You can fire on us if you wish, but consider this. If Earth could develop this technology in secret, what else might we have ready? The alien admiral's crystalline form pulsed with rapid calculations. After a long moment, he spoke. The Concordat Council will not accept this. They don't have to accept it, Admiral. They just have to live with it. Chen's voice softened slightly. Change is coming to the galaxy, whether the Concordat likes it or not. The only question is whether you'll adapt or break against it. As the transmission ended, Chen watched the Concordat warships slowly retreat. It was just the first move in a long game, but humanity had made its point. The galaxy would never be the same. Alert Earth Command, she ordered. Phase 1 complete. Begin preparations for Phase 2. The stars seemed to shine brighter as humanity took its first step toward reshaping the galaxy. The real challenge was just beginning. The silent arsenal. Dr. Maya Patel walked through the massive underground facility beneath the Atacama Desert, remembering the day 15 years ago, when humanity first intercepted the Concordat's quantum communications. She'd been a junior researcher then. Now she headed Earth's most secret weapons development program. Final testing on the mass dampeners is complete, her AI assistant reported through her neural implant. Another technology the Concordat thought impossible. Direct human-AI neural integration without the risks of cognitive collapse that had plagued alien attempts. The facility stretched for kilometers underground, its existence hidden by quantum masking technology reverse-engineered from scattered pieces of alien tech. While Concordat observers watched Earth's primitive space program launch chemical rockets, humanity's real advancement had happened here, in facilities like this one around the world. Show me the latest results from Project Oracle, Maya commanded as she entered the central control room. Holographic displays materialized, showing the quantum prediction matrices that had given Earth its greatest advantage. The ability to calculate and predict Concordat responses with near-perfect accuracy. Dr. James Chen, her longtime colleague, looked up from his workstation. The Oracle confirms it. The Concordat Security Council is meeting in emergency session. They're exactly where we predicted they'd be 12 years ago when we started this project. Maya nodded, studying the probability streams. And their most likely response. They'll try to hack our systems first, James replied, bringing up another display, followed by economic sanctions through their puppet states. Military action is their third option, but the Oracle gives it only a 12% probability. They're too scared of what else we might have hidden. Maya allowed herself a small smile. The Concordat's arrogance had always been their weakness. They'd never imagined that Earth's seemingly primitive computer systems were actually a carefully crafted facade, hiding quantum processors that could outperform their best technology. Director Wilson is waiting in the secure conference room, her eye announced. The Phase 2 briefing is about to begin. The conference room was already full when Maya arrived. Military officers, scientists, and intelligence officials from a dozen nations sat around the table, while others attended via quantum-secured holograms. Director Sarah Wilson, head of Earth's Defense Initiative, stood at the front. The Helios Gate operation was successful. Wilson began without preamble. Commander Chen's fleet has established control, and the Concordat's response matches Oracle's predictions to within 98% accuracy. Now comes the hard part. The display behind her showed a map of known Concordat territory, vast sweeps of space containing thousands of inhabited worlds. Many of them were former independent civilizations, now reduced to client states through the Concordat's technological assistance programs. For 15 years, we've prepared for this moment, Wilson continued. While they watched our visible progress, judged our primitive rockets, and planned how to eventually absorb Earth into their empire, we were building something they never expected, a way to break their control over faster-than-light travel. Maya stood, taking over the briefing. The quantum disruptors were just the beginning. Project Oracle has given us a complete understanding of Concordat FTL technology, and more importantly, its fundamental flaws. She brought up technical schematics that had taken years of covered observation and analysis to compile. Their entire empire is built on controlling the gates, but we've developed something better. Ships that can create their own quantum tunnels without massive gate structures. The prototype is ready. The room erupted in murmurs. This was the game changer they'd been working toward. True independence from the Concordat's transportation network. How long until we can begin production? General Santos asked from his hologram. 3 months for the first fleet, Maya answered. The automated manufacturing facilities are already in place, hidden in asteroid bases throughout the solar system. Once we reveal this capability, the Concordat's economic control over other civilizations will begin to crumble. Director Wilson took over again. The Oracle predicts the Concordat will discover our asteroid facilities within the next 48 hours. Their reaction to that discovery is crucial to Phase 2. They need to understand that Earth isn't just refusing to join their empire. We're going to dismantle it. And the other civilizations? Someone asked. How will they react? Maya brought up another Oracle projection. Many have been waiting for this opportunity. Our intelligence networks have identified at least 30 worlds ready to break from Concordat control once they have an alternative. We'll offer them not just freedom of travel, but access to our technological developments. Won't that risk our advantages? General Santos asked. The opposite, Maya replied. Our real advantage isn't the technology. It's our ability to innovate, to think differently than the Concordat. They've spent millennia believing they've reached the peak of possible development. We're about to show them how wrong they are. As the briefing continued, Maya's AI flagged an incoming priority alert. She read it and interrupted the discussion. Oracle's predictions are accelerating, she announced. The Concordat just discovered one of our quantum signature traces. They're beginning to realize the full scope of our deception. She paused, looking at the probability streams. Phase 2 needs to begin now. Director Wilson nodded grimly. Send the signal to all sleeper cells. Begin Protocol Prometheus. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can really do. Around the solar system, hidden facilities began powering up. Earth's real space fleet, not the primitive ships they'd shown the Concordat, but vessels incorporating 15 years of secret development, prepared to reveal themselves. The next phase of humanity's plan to reshape the galaxy was about to begin. Diplomatic shockwaves. Ambassador Elena Santos walked through the crystalline halls of the Concordat's Grand Assembly on New Alexandria, her footsteps echoing off walls that had witnessed 10,000 years of galactic politics. To the delegates watching, she appeared perfectly calm. None could detect the quantum-encrypted communications flowing through her enhanced neural pathways, coordinating Earth's most ambitious diplomatic offensive. The Rixian delegation is ready, her AI assistant whispered in her mind. Their resistance movement confirms receipt of the liberation package. The assembly chamber doors opened automatically, revealing the vast amphitheater where representatives from over 3,000 worlds gathered. Today, less than half the seats were filled. Exactly as Project Oracle had predicted, many delegates have been recalled by their governments after Earth's display of power at the Helios Gate. The representative from Earth may address the assembly, announced High Speaker Vex Thor, his crystalline form pulsing with barely contained anger. Belina approached the central platform, which rose smoothly into the air. Her quantum implants detected thousands of scanning attempts from the assembled delegates, all trying to determine if she was really human or some advanced projection. The irony almost made her smile. "Honored representatives," she began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. "For centuries, the Concordat has claimed to be the guardian of galactic civilization. Today, Earth will show you the truth." With a thought, she activated the quantum holographic array hidden in her neural implants. The chamber's own projection systems were overridden, showing images that made many delegates recoil in shock. These are the sealed records from Operation Cultural Integration on Rixus Prime. Helena continued as scenes of systematic cultural destruction played out around them. Watch as Concordat advisors systematically dismantled 10,000 years of Rixian artistic tradition, replacing it with standardized entertainment formats. "This is an outrage," the Concordat security minister shouted. "These records were destroyed." "Nothing is ever truly destroyed in the quantum realm," Helena cut him off. "Earth has been gathering these records for 15 years. We've documented every civilization the Concordat has uplifted, and what that upliftment really meant." More images appeared. The destruction of ancient learning centers on Vega II, the forced resettlement of the Proxima colonies, the systematic suppression of technological innovation on dozens of worlds. "The Concordat claims to promote unity." Elena's voice hardened. "In reality, you enforce uniformity. You don't uplift civilizations. You erase everything unique about them until they fit your prescribed model of society." The Rixian delegate stood suddenly, their feathered crest fully extended in emotion. "The human speaks truth. We demand access to these records." "Already done," Elena replied. "Every civilization represented here is receiving complete documentation of what was done to them. And more importantly, proof that it wasn't necessary." She gestured, and new projections appeared: technical schematics, cultural preservation techniques, alternative development paths that the Concordat had deliberately hidden. "Earth is offering a choice," Elena continued. "Continue under Concordat control, or join the Free Stars Alliance. We offer full access to our technological developments, including independent FTL travel, but with one condition: cultural autonomy must be preserved." The chamber erupted in chaos as delegates began shouting questions, demands, and threats. Elena waited patiently until High Speaker Vexthor restored order. "You cannot seriously expect," he began, but Elena interrupted again. "We expect nothing. We offer choice, something the Concordat has systematically denied, and to demonstrate our commitment." New holograms appeared, showing Earth vessels appearing near dozens of worlds, delivering quantum-encrypted data packages directly to resistance movements and reform-minded governments. As we speak, 342 worlds are receiving the means to break free from Concordat control. The plans for our FTL drive technology, quantum communication systems, and defense platforms, along with the suppressed historical and cultural records of their own civilizations. The security minister's crystalline form turned deep red with rage. "This is an act of war." "No," Elena replied calmly. "This is an act of liberation. Earth has no interest in controlling these worlds. We want them to reclaim their own destinies." She turned to address the entire chamber. "For too long, the Concordat has claimed that uniformity is necessary for stability. Earth proves otherwise. Our strength comes from our diversity, our willingness to embrace different perspectives and approaches." The Rixian delegate spoke again, joined by others. "We wish to learn more about this alliance." "The details are in the data packages you've received," Elena responded, "including proof that the Concordat has been lying about the impossibility of combining different technological approaches. Earth has successfully integrated techniques from a dozen different civilizations, techniques the Concordat claimed were incompatible." More delegates were standing now, their own quantum systems confirming the authenticity of Earth's revelations. Elena could see the moment when understanding swept through the chamber. The realization that everything they believed about technological and cultural development had been carefully controlled propaganda. The assembly is suspended. High Speaker Vex Thor announced desperately. All delegates are ordered to. I don't think anyone is taking orders from the Concordat anymore, Alina interrupted softly. The age of enforced unity is over. The age of chosen cooperation is beginning. As if to emphasize her point, the Rixian delegation and several others were already leaving their seats, gathering in informal groups to discuss the implications of Earth's offer. Phase 3 diplomatic objectives achieved, her AI confirmed privately. Oracle predicts 89% probability of alliance formation within 72 hours. Alina allowed herself a small nod of satisfaction. The Concordat's political control was crumbling faster than even their most optimistic predictions. But she knew this was just the beginning. The real challenge would be helping these civilizations recover their lost heritage while moving forward into a new era of true cooperation. The assembly is not dismissed, Vex Thor shouted, but his voice was lost in the growing excitement as more delegates accessed the data Earth had provided. The revolution wouldn't be stopped by parliamentary procedures. The galaxy was changing, one freed civilization at a time. Counter-strike. Fleet Admiral Raven Blackwood watched the quantum sensor displays aboard the EDS Prometheus as thousands of Concordat warships emerged from FTL travel. The massive alien armada stretched across space, their crystalline ships glowing with charged weapon systems. They committed their entire First Fleet, her XO. Commander David Chen noted calmly. Oracle's predictions were off by only 2%. The best way to break their military hubris is to let them throw everything at us, Raven replied, studying the tactical projections. All defense grid stations, execute Protocol Labyrinth. Across the solar system, hundreds of quantum defense platforms that had been invisible to Concordat sensors suddenly activated. But instead of firing weapons, they began generating overlapping fields of distorted spacetime. Message from Concordat Fleet Command. Communications reported. Grand Admiral Zixtal demands our immediate surrender or Earth will face, quote, consequences beyond imagination. Raven allowed herself a small smile. Send our response. Welcome to humanity's playground. The Concordat fleet launched their first assault wave, 500 capital ships firing their most powerful weapons. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaked toward Earth's defensive line. But they never arrived. The overlapping quantum fields caught the attacks, twisting space itself to redirect the energy. The Concordat's weapons fire emerged behind their own fleet, forcing them to raise shields against their own attacks. Phase 1 displacement successful, Tactical reported. Enemy fleet is responding exactly as simulated. The Concordat ships began to advance, attempting to push through the quantum interference. That's when Earth revealed its second surprise. Execute Protocol Prometheus, Raven ordered. Thousands of small objects previously dismissed as debris suddenly activated. Each was a quantum resonance drone, designed to exploit a fundamental flaw in Concordat shield technology that Earth had discovered years ago. The drones didn't attack. They simply began broadcasting on precisely calculated frequencies. Across the Concordat fleet, shield systems started failing as their quantum matrices collapsed. Enemy fleet reports 60% shield failures and climbing. Tactical announced. They're attempting to reconfigure. Now they see the trap, Raven murmured. But they still don't understand it. Launch the Fireflies. From hidden bays around the solar system, swarms of tiny automated craft emerged. Each carried a quantum teleportation device. Technology the Concordat had deemed theoretically impossible. The Fireflies blinked through space, appearing inside the disabled shields of Concordat vessels. But instead of attacking, they began transmitting data directly into the ship's neural networks. On the main display, Raven watched as confusion spread through the enemy fleet. The Fireflies were delivering a simple message. Footage from thousands of surveillance drones showing how the Concordat's own leadership had suppressed technological innovations that could have prevented this very vulnerability. Enemy fleet showing signs of internal communication breakdown, intelligence reported. Several battle groups are refusing orders to continue the attack. That was the true purpose of this battle, not to destroy the Concordat's military might, but to break their absolute faith in their technological superiority. Concordat High Command is ordering a full attack. Communications announced. Grand Admiral Zixtal is threatening to execute any captain who refuses. Perfect timing, Raven said. Execute final revelation. The space around Earth's defense fleet shimmed as thousands of quantum gates opened simultaneously, but these weren't the massive structures the Concordat used. Each Earth ship was generating its own portable gateway. Send the broadcast, Raven ordered. Her voice carried across every channel to the Concordat fleet. Your leaders told you that independent FTL travel was impossible, that gates were the only way. They lied. Every piece of technology we've shown you today was discovered by civilizations the Concordat conquered, innovations they suppressed to maintain control. She paused, letting that sink in. We're transmitting the complete technical specifications to every ship in your fleet. Your own engineers can verify everything. The choice is yours. Continue fighting for leaders who've been lying to you, or help us build something better. The response came faster than even Oracle had predicted. Across the Concordat fleet, ships began powering down weapons. Some immediately jumped to FTL using Earth's transmitted specs, while others maintained position but refused to fire. Grand Admiral Zixtal's voice boomed across the command channel. This is your final warning. All ships will. His transmission cut off as his own flagship's crew acted, quantum fields dampening his command center. Enemy fleet is standing down, Tactical reported. 84% of vessels are requesting permission to approach and verify our technological demonstrations. Raven nodded. Permission granted. Begin organizing technical exchanges. Let's show them what real technological cooperation looks like. The battle that was supposed to crush Earth's rebellion had instead broken the Concordat military's absolute loyalty. As Raven watched Concordat ships cautiously approaching Earth's defense platforms, she knew the real work was just beginning. Send word to the Alliance worlds, she ordered. Operation Shattered Chains is complete. We can begin Phase 5. Rebuilding the galaxy as it should have been all along. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if celebrating the dawn of a new era in galactic history. New Dawn. Director Aria Zhang stood in the newly constructed Chamber of Civilizations on Mars, watching representatives from over 2,000 worlds mingle beneath the vast transparent dome. Each delegate's natural form was displayed proudly. No more forced conformity to Concordat standards of acceptable appearance. The Rixian Cultural Revival Program reports 90% recovery of their ancient artistic traditions, her AI assistant noted through the neural link. And the Proxima colonies have successfully reestablished their original governance systems. 6 months had passed since the Concordat's military defeat, but Aria knew the real revolution was only beginning. The chamber's walls displayed real-time updates from across the galaxy, ancient cities being uncovered, suppressed technologies being rediscovered, lost languages being spoken again. Director, the Integration Council is ready, announced Dr. Yuki Tanaka, Earth's chief xenotechnologist. She approached with a holographic display showing the day's agenda. How are our guests adapting to the new paradigm? Aria asked as they walked toward the council chamber. Better than Oracle predicted, Yuki replied. Turns out when you free people from enforced uniformity, they're remarkably good at solving their own problems. The Vega Collective just successfully merged their ancestral meditation techniques with quantum computing, something the Concordat claimed would cause catastrophic system failures. The Integration Council chamber was a marvel of combined technologies. The architecture incorporated designs from a dozen civilizations, each contributing their unique approach to creating spaces for cooperation. Former Concordat engineers worked alongside Earth scientists, their centuries of experience finally unleashed for innovation rather than control. Welcome to the 7th session of the Free Stars Alliance Integration Council, Aria announced as she took her place at the circular table. Today we'll be reviewing the progress of Project Renaissance. Holograms appeared above the table, showing the transformation spreading across the galaxy. The former Concordat transit network was being replaced by distributed quantum gate generators, allowing any world to establish its own transportation links. Ancient learning centers were being restored, their knowledge integrated with modern innovations. The latest data shows a 300% increase in technological innovation across member worlds, reported Ketel, a former Concordat scientist who'd been one of the first to defect. When we stopped forcing everyone to use the same approaches, the rate of discovery exploded. And the cultural impact has been even more dramatic, added Ambassador Elena Santos, attending via quantum projection. We're seeing a renaissance of art, music, and philosophy as civilizations reclaim their heritage while embracing new possibilities. Aria nodded, pulling up another set of projections. What about the resistance from remaining Concordat loyalists? Diminishing daily, Ketel answered. It's hard to maintain opposition when people can see their worlds flourishing. The last holdout worlds requested membership in the Alliance this morning. Which brings us to our next phase. Aria continued. Project Synthesis. New holograms appeared, showing ambitious plans for combining technologies and methodologies that the Concordat had claimed were incompatible. Earth's quantum computers working alongside Rixian organic processing crystals, Proximan energy systems enhanced by vegan consciousness-based controls. We're not just restoring what was lost, Aria explained. We're creating something entirely new, a civilization that celebrates our differences instead of suppressing them. The chamber's displays shifted to show the construction of the first Alliance University complexes, massive installations where knowledge from every culture could be freely shared and developed. There's something poetic about this, Ambassador Santos observed. The Concordat spent millennia trying to force the galaxy into a single mold. In just 6 months of freedom, we've made more progress by letting each civilization contribute its unique strengths. Speaking of progress, Yuki interjected, the first trials of the combined FTL system are ready. Shall we show them? Aria nodded, and the chamber's view shifted to a test site in deep space. A ship of entirely new design waited there, its hull incorporating crystalline technology from the former Concordat, biological components from the Rixians, and quantum systems from Earth. As they watched, the vessel activated its drive and did something that should have been impossible. It created a stable wormhole without a gate, jumped through faster than any previous FTL system, and maintained perfect quantum coherence throughout. That, Aria announced with satisfaction, is what happens when we work together instead of trying to control each other. The freedom to innovate, to be different, to contribute our unique perspectives. That's humanity's real gift to the galaxy. The chamber erupted in excited discussion as representatives began proposing new combinations, new possibilities that had been forbidden under Concordat rule. Aria watched with quiet pride as former enemies worked together, their natural forms expressing joy in their own unique ways. Oracle's final prediction was right, her AI noted privately. The galaxy needed Earth not for our technology, but for our stubborn insistence that diversity is strength. Aria smiled as she watched a young Rixian scientist enthusiastically explaining an idea to a former Concordat engineer, their natural forms so different, but their excitement for discovery bridging all gaps. The Concordat tried to unite the galaxy through control, she murmured. We're uniting it through choice, and that makes all the difference. Outside the dome, Mars' terraformed surface gleamed under the Earth's light, a testament to humanity's determination to reshape worlds while preserving their essential nature. A new age had begun, not just for Earth but for every civilization, ready to contribute its unique voice to the galaxy's grand chorus. The stars seemed to shine with new possibility, as if the galaxy itself was celebrating the dawn of true cooperation.